Welcome to my drawing advent calendar. Every day until Christmas you'll get a drawing tip or a little mini drawing lesson. Click on the bell to be reminded. Have fun and a wonderful holiday season. Hi and welcome. Today we will draw a dog eye. It's a dark brown dog eye with a beautiful sun reflection. You can see a little bit of the sky. So we are using browns and blues and grays in the eye. A little bit of a cream fur is also around. So let's start. The size of the eye is again so about 3 to 2 centimeters. So I will draw it small, but it's an eye of a portrait in size A4, for example, 8 to 12 inch. Okay, so let's start mapping out here the sketch, sketching in here the outlines. Let's draw here the dog eye freehand. Here let's sketch in here the shape of the eye. Here is the eye corner. We can map in black here in the corner. So I do here the sketch quickly. What I most times do is using 2 different colors in my sketch. So I would draw in here a light reflection line here and also the lower eyelid with a lighter color, for example the white, so I have a better orientation. Then afterwards you can of course do the whole sketch with one color, with black, for example. So here it's the eyeball, the corner I'm mapping in black, and here black. Below the white line here too, it's a reflection, it's not the eyelid. Here we have reflections in the eye. Here is the eyelid above. It can be a little bit broader here, this upper eyelid. Then we have here the eyeball, and I have here reflections of the surrounding, little trees are in there, and the sun. So here we have an amazing sun, so I draw it in with white. We have here a reflection, so I mark all the lightest reflections, although in the sketch. And then let's draw here along the eyelid with black and outline here in the inner corner of the eye. And then yes, let's map in a little bit of the fur around the eye. We don't want to draw only the eye alone. We add a little bit of fur around. So here, draw the fur, sketch the fur in fur direction. Then we have here below darker fur. Always follow the fur direction, follow here to the left side. The fur is growing here to the left side. Yes, and we will also then map in a little bit of the ivory and the creamy fur here around. This dog has a cream yellow fur color, so we will draw a little bit of fur around. Okay, so we did the first sketch, and then let's work on the eye. My first step is to plot in here black. In the eyeball I will use the black pastel pencil. So I have here the pits from Faber-Castell. You can of course use the Carbotellos or Carandache or every brand you have. My favorite pencils are the Pitt, Faber-Castell and the Carbotellos. I also like the Durant pastel pencils. They are softer. For details I prefer the Pitts because they have a harder lead. You can draw more details with them, thinner lines and so on. So I'm mapping here black around the eyeball here, below that white line, and here on the eyeball here on the lower side, mapping in black. Then blend this with the paper stamp. So blending is always important. I don't want to see all those dots of the pastel mat paper. So pastel mat allows you to draw lots of layers. It's not saturated too early when you are blending your base layers well. So blend your layers well. Use less pastel pigment. Don't apply too much so that you avoid that the paper is saturated too early. Blend also here the black of the eyelid here into the fur around. Let's blend also here our sketch, pushing the pigment into the paper. Here too we will here apply blue in the middle of the eyeball. Here we have sky, so let's map in here blue. I have here a middle blue 149 of the Pits, and light blue, it's a Carbotello 435, the ultramarine light from the Stabilo Carbotellos. We can also here along the lower eyelid, we can plot in blue, so we have lots of highlights and light reflections in there. Then go over it with a paper stamp here and blend the blue. So I create here smooth transitions between the different blue values here, the different blue tones. Also here let's blend this eyelid. All the brown paper color should disappear under the layers with pastel mat paper. Here also let's blend those black lines a little bit. I'm going over the whole base layer here with the paper stamp. Here we can also blend the black a little bit into the blue. Okay, so you can see wonderful transitions here. You can also use, for example, a gray or a white. So use white here around the sun and add a little bit of white very, very gently. So I'm going over here, over the drawing with a very light hand. I hardly touch the paper and apply a thin layer of pastel pigments, and then I use a cotton swab and blend this white very gently into the blue, so that we have here very smooth transitions, and we have here with this glossy look of the eye. Here we have also a light reflection. We can draw in here white on the lower eyelid, and here too a little bit, so we have some light reflections here. Let's go in also with dark brown. It's a brown eye here. We can add here a little bit of brown pastel pigment here below. Let's give the eye a brown touch here. It's a very dark brown eye. Then let's work again with black, and let's map in here more black here around the edges here and also above. So I sharpened the pencil quickly. So let's map in a little bit of black here around edges, create a little bit of contrast here too, and also here on the eyelid. It can be more black and more deeper black. The same is here below the lower eyelid. Just plop it. Increase the black here going over it, and let's draw in here again some of those trees, some reflections we have to see here, and let's map in here some lashes, some shadows of the lashes. Yes, and then let's work a little bit on the fur around the eye. So I would start here in the black part here and above the eyelid, and let grow out here short hairs. The same here below. Just drawing in here with black a layer of short hairs here on the right side too. Then let's add with the ivory a very light yellow, so a creamy color here, short fur hairs following the direction here towards the left. Some lines are thicker, some are shorter. We are drawing in here the fur. Here too, let's add some of those short ivory, creamy fur hairs. Yes, and here below too. Let's map in a little bit of the lighter fur, so the ivory, yellowy fur, we can go over it with ochre. Blend the layer with ochre a little bit. Blend it with the paper stamp, so follow the direction and blend it with the paper stamp so that you get a smooth surface and no interrupted lines. You can then draw over it again. Here we have to blend this black. All the paper color is shining through and we see brown dots, so that I don't want. So blend it well that you don't see the paper through. And then add more layers. Pastel matte paper allows lots of layers. Okay. So let's add here some very thin light blue hairs here below the eye. I'm using the light blue Carbothello with using very less pressure, and add some light blue hairs and creamy ones too. They can be very thin and very short. Then let's add here another of ivory hairs, drawing in short lines. Whoops. The same here too, so create some layers here. Here below I'm using a little bit more pressure because I want that the pencil, that the color aberration is higher and the strokes become lighter and more brilliant. I'm going over it with an ochre or a raw amber. So it's a yellowy color, an ochre color. Going over this fur a little bit, blend it a little bit into the dark here. The same we can do here above. Bring in a little bit of ochre color. Play a little bit around on this dog fur here around the eye. Then let's add another layer of ivory. Let them overlap and let them go in different directions a little bit, not all near the other. Let them cross a little bit. Okay. Here you can also use very short, fine, thin strokes, and here too. So let's refine the fur a little bit. Let's use the black once more and add some darker fur lines, shadow lines. Here we can draw some black tips, hair tips into the lighter fur, so let them go into the creamy yellowy fur. Here too it's important that your black hairs also go here between the lighter ones, create shadows or overlap them. Okay, here we can darken down this light reflection here a little bit. So let's refine our dog eye finally. Okay. Yes, fine. So blend it here once more very gently. Going over with the paper stamp a little bit. Perhaps I use the crafting knife finally to add some details, to add some fine hairs, to scratch in some fine hairs. I love the crafting knife to add some details, to scratch in some fur or to refine the whole fur structure a little bit. Okay. Perhaps we add some highlights with the white finally. So I'm going over the light fur part with white a little bit and add here and there some white strokes for creating some highlights. Okay, so yes, I think we can then finish this drawing of our dog eye here. I hope you enjoyed the drawing process. I hope you could follow the mini drawing lesson of today, and Yes, I hope you have fun with drawing, and I wish you lots of fun. I'm looking forward to seeing your results. Bye!